Hello and welcome to another exciting, riveting, join your own adjective episode of Coffee and Cuddles. As always, I am Craig, aka the Coffee Guy, and by my side, as per usual, is the amazing, wonderful, superlative Cuddles, aka Anna Marie. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm muddling through. I'm powering on. I'm swimming.
I was asking them how they're
Oh, them
them,
as, as opposed to us or we, they.
Well, I know how you're doing. I see you all the time.
Is that a bad thing?
No, not at all.
Good answer.
So, okay, so
You better know what side your bread is buttered on.
Obviously, it's one side, so the other side isn't covered in butter.
Fair enough.
Although, have you ever tried to butter both sides without one side with the butter getting all messy or all over the plate or all over your hand?
I have not, but are you familiar with the theory of feline butterology?
I don't know if I even want to know, but go ahead.
Well, if you drop a cat from a certain height, it lands on its feet.
Right.
So if you drop a piece of buttered bread, it always lands butter side down. So someone, and I can't remember his name, theorized that if you strap a buttered slice of toast butter side up to the back of a cat and drop it, it will fall so far and then hover in midair, and then it will start to spin because one is trying to land one way and one is trying to land the other way. And it just spins and spins and spins, and that's how warp drive was invented.
Because of a cat and a piece of buttered bread?
Yes, feline butterology.
Tell me. That is not how NASA works.
Well, if I did, that would be involving a secret, and we don't do that here. Yet.
Okay, so before all of you get very concerned that we are talking about the theory of warp drive, cats or butter or bread, no, that's not what we're talking about at all.
Do we ever get right to the point? I don't believe we do. That's part of our charm, if you will.
Oh, that's true.
It's a quirk.
It is a quirk. But now that we have concerned our listeners greatly, let's get into it. So tonight is all about gender role and how it is in our relationship versus what we grew up with. So I don't know about you, Coffee Craig. I like
Craig.
that. I don't know about you, but in my family, it was very much stereotypical gender roles. Like my brothers played with G.I. Joes. My sisters and I played with Barbie dolls. Dad brought home the money. Can't say he brought home the bacon because mom did the grocery shopping. So she brought home the bacon. Dad brought home the money and mom was the one doing the cooking and the cleaning and all of that.
That's how it was for me too. My grandmother and grandfather were the same way. Although my grandmother did work in later years, so I guess they both brought home the bacon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can say that. So when I was growing up, it was very stereotypical. Like, I was pretty much, picking up on how my mom did things, and it just kind of got, I don't want to say ingrained, but that was pretty much what was going through the back of my mind. When I get married,
this is the way it's going to be.
Right. Exactly. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing at all. If that is what works in your relationship, by all means, you have no reason to feel awkward about it. If that's what works for you, if that's what you have grown up with and are used to, that is absolutely the way your relationship should go, is going, will go.
Should go or will go or absolutely. We're not trying to ever tell you how things should be done in your world or your sphere of influence. If a certain way works for you, then great. It works for you, and there's no need to compare yourself or keep up with the Joneses or the Smiths or any of those people. Whoever may live on your block. There's no need to keep up with them. And because it works for one couple does not mean it works for all couples. It works for us. because I have evolved over the years into a modern thinking sort of fellow where if you want to do certain things that are manly roles or the male roles or whatever, then knock yourself out. If you enjoy doing those things, I will never tell a spouse or partner that they can't go work on the car or put the grill together or do any of those things that are usually left for the men folk.
Now, like I said, this is kind of what I saw growing up as a kid, and it carried over pretty much into high school. I'm the oldest in my family, and my dad pretty much had a very set mindset of where he saw his oldest daughter going. I remember saying, and I don't remember how old I was, but I remember telling him that I was very curious about his job and what he does. And I wanted to learn more about it because, I was thinking that might be what I want to do someday. My dad was a certified public accountant, and he pretty much squashed that idea right away because it involves a lot of math. And I was led to the understanding that women are not good at math. So,
Which is kind of weird because and when I grew up, it was often the wife or the mom or whoever that kept the family budget.
well, I know that my mom no, she did that in later years,
Okay.
that she was handling the checkbook. When I was in high school, there was this class that I wanted to take called business skills. And it was a typing business skills course. And the prerequisite for this class was typing 1, which I had not taken. So the instructor had told me that if I took a typing course over the summer, then she would allow me into her class. So I did take a typing course over the summer, and this is probably a topic for next time, but I did get into the class. Suffice it to say, my typing skills were nowhere where she thought it should be. Because when I may as well just explain it, right? Right. Okay. So
It's your dime.
it's my time. So when I took this typing course over the summer, there was nobody like hovering over you, making sure that your fingers were on the home keys and all that. So it was pretty much, here's the book, there's the typewriter, and there was like one person like going around making sure you were doing something or that your machines were working. So I got to the point where I would memorize whole chunks of information that was on this page, and I would just let my fingers fly on the keyboard. So yeah, my ability to move quickly seemed to be right where it should be until come the new school year, and she gave everybody a typing test. And again, I was doing what I unfortunately got in the habit of during my summer course. And that's when it was discovered I cannot type in the quote unquote traditional way. So she was extremely unhappy, but she had already agreed to let me in the course because I came in and brought proof I had taken and passed a typing class. So then it was, okay, what am I going to have this girl do? She can't really type. So I remember there was this one kit that simulated a home budget where you had bills and you had to write checks and all that. And that was something that she let me do. So I got really good at managing a budget and keeping track of how much money I have and making deposits and withdrawals and the whole 9 yards. And I tried to use that to tell my dad, I am good at math. Look at what I've been doing in this class in school. But no, being a CPA, he definitely did not feel was in my future. I will never forget when it came time for me to drive, he told me that women are not good drivers, and I had to take driver's ed, not once, but twice. None of my other siblings had to do this, but his oldest daughter, his first teenage driver, had to do it twice. I went to an all-girls Catholic high school, so that is where I took my first driver's ed. And for my second behind the wheel time, he sent me to the all boys Catholic high school and had me drive with a priest. Now, I don't know if that was my father's way of saying, pray that you don't get in an accident or what it was, but he didn't want me getting my driver's license too soon. When my high school science club was going to Catalina, he was very much against the thought of me traveling anywhere unaccompanied by him. So, yeah, my idea of how gender roles work was a little warped, I guess you could say.
I'm kind of the same way, and it blows my mind now, being that we as Gen X have lived through so many different generations, and well, maybe not some generations, but a generation at least. And we've lived through a few decades, and things have changed so much from when most of us were born in like the late 60s and early 70s. That it used to be my grandfather, well, both my grandparents worked, but my grandmother would set out his food and set out his pills and get his coffee and do all these things. And it was just like, I don't know if demanded is the right word, but it was expected that she was going to do this for him. And it was very weird to see him do anything. I don't think I ever really saw him do anything for himself, make a sandwich, get a drink. I don't think I ever saw any of that because she was always waiting on him. And there's nothing wrong with that. That was the era that they're from. And that's what they knew. And that's how life was. And as time progressed and women started saying, you know what? Yeah, no, we're not going to do this anymore. And I watched my mother go through that, where she asserted herself and she said, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't want to be this kind of person. And that's great. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that either. And now my generation comes along and it's like, do whatever you want. If you want to be this, be that. If you want to be this, go over there and be that. And it's weird. And part of this topic came up today because Anna and I had a conversation about me not feeling like I pull my weight financially in this relationship. Now I fulfill my duties and obligations and everything else in other ways that are not financial. I cook, I clean, I make sure she has clean clothes. I get up in the morning and make her lunch. I make her breakfast. I do all these things. So I am contributing, just not financially. And that's something that was ingrained into me, that as a man, you must provide financially for everything. And I am working towards that. And I've got some things in motion to help with that. And I'm announcing to the world that I've been accepted into Los Angeles Pacific University, and I will be going for my bachelor's in digital marketing. So at some point in the future, I will have a degree and I will be able to work in this field. Now I will be 60-ish by the time this rolls around. So maybe I won't be hired anyway, but the important thing to me is I've always wanted to get a degree, and life kind of got in the way, and I kind of got in my own way. And when I graduated high school, I wanted nothing to do with college or living at home for another 4 years or any of that. So instead of taking the collegiate route, I went into the service. And I don't regret that. I enjoyed my time. I'm very happy to have done the things I've done. I'm very proud of my service. So I won't say I don't absolutely regret it. There are some regrets that I wish I would have done it sooner. But again, like I said, life gets in the way. And now, because I have an awesome partner and girlfriend, I feel that I am able and allowed and free to go pursue this. So find yourself an awesome partner that allows you the freedom to chase your dreams, however silly they may be. And she's jumping up and down, raising her hand like, ooh, like Horseshack from Welcome Back, Cotter. So take it away.
Thank goodness you didn't say I look like Horseshack from Welcome Back, Cotter.
Not in public.
I'd be upset with you.
Not in public.
Hey! Oh, we're going to have a chat later. So I don't want anybody to think that he is doing the quote unquote stereotypical feminine role while I'm doing the quote unquote gendered typical male role, because that's not it at all. Does he do a lot to help me out around the house? He absolutely does. Does this mean that I am no longer dealing with laundry and food prep and all that. No, not at all.
Absolutely not. I was feeling unwell yesterday and you did laundry.
Yeah.
Which felt weird to me because I'm usually the one that I like doing it so you don't have to. Now, I'm not going to lie, I get a certain perverse thrill out of saying it's already done.
And
So
I get a certain perverse thrill out of actually hearing you say, honey, it's already done, because it's just one less thing off my plate. I know when my parents got divorced and now, mom is, well, actually she was working before they got divorced. But now she, got a job and, oh my gosh, the laundry needs to get done or this needs to get prepped or whatever it may be. And stuff that she was probably used to my dad doing, now she was doing. And when I went into relationships, yes, part of it was ingrained in my head that there are certain things that he will do and certain things that I will do. But I don't know what I think the fact that my mom had, after the divorce, become head of household and she was having to make sure, taxes were being handled and all of that. I think that's probably what shifted things in my head. Although I went into relationship thinking, this was what it was going to be like when my parents first started out. But eventually through the course of my life, at one point I found myself on my own, for the first time, because I went from living at home to living with a um a, a boyfriend to being married to suddenly, oh my gosh, I'm on my own. And it was a lot, like trying to take care of yard work or housework or, this has to get done or that has to get done, because it was just me. And I remember being outside one day and trying to work on mowing the lawn, and I wasn't feeling all that great. I was really sore and the lawnmower was fighting me. I have an electric lawnmower. So it kept coming unplugged. And I remember there were some gentlemen across the street, and I don't know exactly what they had said, but they were saying something. They were looking my way as they were talking, and they kind of looked at each other and laughed. And the first thing I thought of was, it had to be something about the fact that there is a woman trying to mow the lawn. And that actually really made me angry. Like, if the way I'm doing it is funny to you, or the fact that I'm doing it is funny to you, then you get over here and do it if you can do it so much better than I can. And after that moment, it was like, okay, you know what? I can do anything that my father would have done taking care of the house or whatever it may be. So now that I'm coming back full circle to where I originally started talking,
see, that's easy to do.
it really is easy to do. The way, gender roles no, there are no gender roles in this relationship, because
Not typical, not like your normal,
not stereotypical, not
No.
like from, the 50s. And I'm just picking a decade. So not from the 50s. He's not Ward Cleaver. I'm not June Cleaver by any means. Although I would look really good with the pearl necklace. Don't know why I said that. Probably because June Cleaver, let's just say it. June Cleaver always looked very well put together with her dresses and her heels and her pearls. I don't think I could handle walking around in heels all day myself. So I may just run around the house with no shoes on, but I could definitely rock her dress. I definitely could. So there's no, I'm sorry, I just keep talking.
That's
talking. You can
I'll
knock
interject.
me off my chair.
Not on the radio with witnesses. No,
Yeah, you hear a thud.
I think that if one person in a relationship is better than the other at cooking or cleaning or whatever, then by all means, if that's your thing, then do that thing. Don't fall for the, well, I can't do that because I'm a man, or I shouldn't do that because I'm a woman, or any of that. Throw all that conventional talk out the window and do what's best for you and your partner at all times. And I hate to say it, but screw the rest of the world, because it does. What happens out inside your house does not matter. Doesn't matter outside your house. What's outside your house doesn't concern you. It's none of their business what you do. So if this works for you, then do it.
Exactly. And I think, when you had made that comment earlier about not feeling like you were, well, can I use the words that you used? Would that be okay?
Sure.
All right. So, what brought this whole topic about was when I heard you say that you didn't feel like a man because of me contributing more on the financial end of things. And that actually just broke my heart, because you do a lot as
I appreciate that.
in this relationship. You take care of a lot of things that, I guess if this was back in the 50s, that I should be handling. I don't think I've ever brought this up before. I was diagnosed probably, I think it's been 5 years now, maybe it's 5 or 6 years. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease called lupus. And there's different forms of lupus. For me, it attacks my joints. So basically, my body is attacking itself. So when it should be going after like all of the cold germs and all the bad juju, it's going after my joints as if, hey, this fallen joint shouldn't be here, and it's trying to attack it to eradicate it. So there are days that I cannot move easily, or I am in so much pain, I just cannot get going. So I am extremely thankful to have somebody who is willing to jump in and help with whatever I need. For example, I needed to go to my classroom today because my desk looks like it imploded. It was just a mess.
Not anymore.
I know. Thank you. I did not want to walk back into work on a Monday looking at that. And there had been so many Saturdays that you willingly got in the car with me, drive to my school to put stuff away or whatever. So we got to my school today, and I went to get out of the car, and I don't think I took more than
3 or 4 steps.
3 or 4 steps. And it was absolutely painful. I could not manage to even get beyond the length of the car. And I hated the thought of saying, we need to go home. I need to get more pain medication, or I need to lay down, or whatever it is. And you just pretty much swooped in, took control, and said, you are going to stay in the car, sit down. And you had my keys in your hand and said, I'm going to take care of your classroom. And poof, you were gone. And I'm like, oh, okay. And okay, he's okay. And it was pretty much, he's going to go in there and do whatever is going to make things easier for me on Monday. And you know what? It's fine. And I remember you came back and you said that you had marked things as best as you can mark them so that I knew what was what, and you organized it according to what made sense for you. And I guess years and years ago, I would have thought, oh my God, he's just made it worse. But today it was, oh my God, thank you for doing that for me.
Well, why I don't understand relationships or partnerships or whatever where one person will not step up for the other one. Like that. I've seen it where people are like, that's not my job, that's not my concern, it's none of my business what happens. And I'm just not wired that way. If I see something that needs done, or I need something I can help with, then I'm going to do it. And I don't remember if it was last week or the week before we talked about not every problem is a nail. I understand that. But when it's something like straightening up paperwork, I can do that all day long. I'm very good at that. I'm like, okay, this makes sense, and it should make sense to whoever is going to be next to deal with this. All like in similar paperwork is together. All the tardy notes are on one side of your desk. All the things you need to grade is in a pile with a bulldog clip on it. I had fun with the bulldog clips. I'm not gonna lie. Ooh, another thing I can clip together. I like this. Okay.
Oh yeah, I've got all sizes. You should see the really big one.
And like I explained to Anna Marie, it's like I have no emotional attachment to any of this stuff. So I can go in and I can be uninvolved.
Point.
No water bottles while we're on air, buddy. No. Give that to mommy.
I have that?
Your mommy have that.
Let me have that.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
It's got water in it, of course.
It does.
He found another water bottle. I don't know where he finds them. I don't know where they come from. I think he's creating them in the backyard. I don't know.
So in this house, that is McCoy's role, is to find and destroy water bottles. And he's very good at it. I'm going to set this over here. You may hear some water pouring, but he managed to find a water bottle that still had water in it.
Don't be alarmed. There's no leak in the studio.
No, not at all. We don't need the life rafts. So yeah, that was just something that really helped. When I was diagnosed as having lupus, I was pretty much living on my own. And when you are in pain and nothing seems to be helping and you have to go to the store, it's pretty much, if you're on your own and you need to go to the store, you figure out a way to get there. So I can't tell you how many times we have needed something from the store, and I just was in so much pain physically. The thought of trying to walk around the store or even get out of the car to get into the store absolutely freaked me out.
I'm the same way. And people ask me, how do you do it? I'm like, I have no choice. I have suffered from chronic pain for decades. No medicine works. No treatments work. No physical therapy did anything to really alleviate the pain in any measurable way. But there are times when we have to go shopping and we need something from a store. And I'm just like, I got to go do it. So no matter how much it hurts, no matter what's going on, you just kind of suck it up, put on your big boy pants or your big girl pants, or however you want to phrase it, and you do it. And I don't know, I've never been diagnosed with a specific thing that causes this. I don't know what it is. But if I can help you do that, then I'm going to, as long as I'm physically able to move. And someone on more than one occasion has said, well, why don't you use one of the power scooters, the hover rounds in the grocery store. And I know it's kind of like the same thing as a wheelchair. Once I put my butt in that chair, I'm probably never going to get out of it. So until I absolutely have to use it, and there's nothing wrong with using it. If you got to use them, use them.
I use them.
But in my case,
I have to.
In my case, I'm so afraid that that's going to happen, so I don't do it.
So we could probably talk about this forever and a day. But your coffee cup is looking empty there.
It is empty.
This might actually, I already thought of what we're going to talk about next week.
Okay.
So,
you have to tune in to find out.
So yeah, this is how, gender roles are working for us. Why did I say it that way? There are no gender roles, and it's just something that works for us. So I think I'm going to let you end it tonight.
As always, we are Coffee and Cuddles, aka Anna Marie and Craig. We appreciate each and every one of you listening, tuning in every week. We did record a day late this week because, like I said, I was under the weather last night. So we thank you all. We appreciate you all. We hope that you come back. We hope that you learned something from this. We hope you enjoyed it. Please share this with your friends. If you didn't like it, talk to us. If you did like it, tell everybody else about it. This is just our 2 cents worth. Your mileage may vary. God bless. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Friday or Saturday or whatever.
Bye for now.
Bye.